One of the biggest story in our lifetime dropped yesterday that's developing right now, and hardly any of us are talking about it. Why? You know why? Because it's complicated, and it's frustrating, and it's swampy, and it's political, and it's Washington, D.C., and it's deep state crap, and it's all this other stuff. But it's just starting. I try not to drop too much hyperbole on here. I really don't. But it's a biggie. But it's deep, it's complicated, it's frustrating. So we're going to start this one off with light and fluffy. But no less important, about Disney dropping their woke greeting. Boy, I didn't expect this one coming today. We've got a Disney greeting story and a deep state exposure. What can you do? I don't know. We'll break it all down, though. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you. It's Wicked Radio live stream, and then the replay on X, YouTube, and Facebook, and then the audio podcast. A lot of you joining on. You found it. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow, share, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do on your favorite platform to make sure you know when new episodes are coming. All right. What's coming is a big, deep state type story. So my job is to try to break it down for what the hell does this mean to us normal people? And we'll get to that, I promise you, but it's really swampy. So we're gonna have to ramp up to that because I don't know if we're ready for that yet, right? So let's go to it. I don't have any clips or audio from this because it's all copyrighted. But there was no less important story culturally yesterday than the Disney greeting story. What's a Disney greeting, Bill? Okay, whenever you walked into a Disney, and I know I know Disney adults are like creepy. You know, it's like their whole culture, and they don't really have any kids, but they go themselves. That's a whole creepy thing. But still, massive numbers of Americans go to some Disney park somewhere, right? At some point in your life. So it affects a lot of us. And the greeting for our entire lives until last year was, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, and all that standard stuff, right? Well, in the woke era, which was the horrible, horrible, no good woke era of the early 2020s, we all know it, we just lived through it, that was considered offensive. That, saying boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, that was all offensive, right? Common sense has prevailed once again. I was telling you, and I told you this at the start of the year, this is going to be the year of common sense breaking out everywhere, like a common sense virus. When it happens at Disney, and don't underplay this, when it happens at Disney and they go back to that greeting, and they have, that was the big announcement, very quietly they did it, this is a good sign for everything. Now, what was that? I'm trying to think of what the replacement greeting was. It was something like dreamers of all ages or something lame, stupid like that. But very quietly, at all their parks, reportedly, they replaced it with back to, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So in the far-left, lunatic, off-the-shelf, crazy world of reaction, LGBTQ plus add a letter, add a symbol, add a whatever, you got going over there, horrified. How could they do this? And you can expect the lunatics will enact some sort of a ban against Disney until they forget about it the next day and they're next to their next fake outrage, and that'll happen. But for the most part, the reaction has been very, very positive. This is yet another win. And when you go in the comment section, which is always dangerous on news stories like this, any major publication, any outlet, you look at most of the comments, most of them anyway. It's most normal people saying, "We are so back." And I love that expression. Even though you hear that and see that expression everywhere these days, it is overused. It's an important one because when people say, "We are so back," talking about, common sense things, it means people are getting it. I told you, common sense breaking out everywhere, even at Disney. It's a big thing. And then there are other people, of course, who are saying, "What the hell? If this was a big deal to you, then you don't understand what's really going on in the world. Why are we worrying about such a nominal thing?" Is it so non-important? Is it? And when they start to change the words and change what you can't say and calling everything offensive, that's a dark time. But we're coming out of it. So good for you, Disney. You woke up a little bit. Good. Are you unwoke? Is that how? Whatever. All right. Before we even get to the swampy of the swampy, complicated deep state story, let's give you a little Swalwell update. Oh, great, Bill. Thanks. That's the dirtbag I wanted to hear about today. No, this is actually good. Well, the bad part and then the good part. Did you know that he's still eligible for a pension? Big pension, too, because he served the right amount of time in Congress, and there's nothing on the books that would take it away yet. Lauren Boebert, the gun-toting mama from Colorado, the House member. Credit to Benny Johnson, podcaster here. He had her on, I think this is just from yesterday. And she specifically talked about the pension. She's working hard to do two things: exposing who else knew about his gross doings, and two, putting a law in the books that would take these pensions away from, how else do you say it? dirtbags. She's working on that now, and she just may be successful.
What do you think should happen to Eric Swalwell?
Well, there's no statute of limitations on rape, and these women are accusing him of rape. And so I think he has a lot of legal woes in his future and potentially jail or prison time. And that's exactly what he should get. And I don't think that he should have this taxpayer parachute that he gets to leave Congress with. He bowed out and resigned to avoid a very embarrassing expulsion vote that Anna Paulina was bringing up that I absolutely supported.
Yeah, so there's two things in it. So that's the good news, and you always have to look for the good takeaway on this, is that she and others are working on taking the pension away from criminals that have served in Congress. I mean, flat-out criminals. The bad part of that is that they even were getting pensions, even with wrongdoing. You know, that's the bad part. And the really disgusting part we realized yesterday was, did you know until recently, this is another thing that was taken away, that there was a slush fund to pay off accusers of congressional people? Because there's a lot of false flags and false accusations. Sure, I get that. But there's also a lot of payoffs in a slush fund where people were rightfully accused of doing bad things. So that slush fund went away, which is interesting because doesn't it kind of explain why there are resignations now and maybe more coming? Like somebody like Swalwell would resign. They don't have the congressional slush fund to pay off the victims. Might be a connection there. I don't know. But that's the latest on that dirtbag. Maybe he won't get his pension after all. Let's hope not anyway. All right, have we had enough time? Did we ramp up into it to get to the deep state, swampy, political, confusing, criminal, hoaxy, Russian collusion, blah, 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 all that crap? Yes, it's complicated by design on their part. Yes, it's gross and it's disturbing that this kind of stuff happens. But the good news is, all of this stuff may be exposed. You're probably, and there's a lot of people like this, and I'm almost there with you too. I never wanted to hear Russia collusion, that term put together, ever again. And as Trump says, Russia hoax. And he's exactly right about that, because now we're revealing exactly what was behind this. And it's disturbing and it's complicated, but from my angle, I'm going to try to figure out what it means to you and me. Here's what it means. And I'm not a big prediction guy, you know that. I think we're going to have pretty soon, I think all the tea leaves are pointing to this, I think we're going to have a major, major treason arrest of a big, big political name. I think it's coming. One or two. I really do think. And not like staffers, not like that. I mean like elected officials. I think it's coming because of what happened yesterday. So here's what's happened. Let me give you the long and short of it. This was the news as of yesterday afternoon. Tulsi Gabbard, more on Tulsi in a second, Director of National Intelligence, she has just sent criminal referrals to the DOJ for the whistleblower. You might remember this name, maybe not. Eric, I think it's Ciaramella, whose complaint helped trigger President Trump's 2019 impeachment. We're not going to go into all that stuff. The former Intelligence Community Inspector General Michael Atkinson, who was involved in this thing too. So that's from Tulsi Gabbard, right? So that's the long and short of it, exactly what happened. Sometimes to totally understand exactly what's going on, you got to go right to the source. So let's go to Tulsi's interview yesterday. What exactly is she doing?
But another threat to our constitutional republic is when the intelligence community is weaponized for political purposes. You released new documentation this week showing what happened in the lead up to the impeachment of President Donald Trump in 2019. Can you tell us what you found and why now to release and declassify this information to the public?
Yeah, thanks, Katie. You know, first and foremost, it is always the right time to expose the truth to the American people about the deep state tactics that have been used time and time again, fundamentally to undermine the foundational principles of our republic, and in so many cases to undermine the decisions that the American people make when they cast their votes in our elections to decide who they want to lead our country. And so the documents that we released really pointed to the fact that the 2019 impeachment occurred because there were members of the intelligence community working directly with House Democrats, specifically Adam Schiff, who's on the House Intelligence Committee at the time, concocting this narrative, weaponizing the whistleblower process, lying and abusing their power, all to create this manufactured basis that Nancy Pelosi then used to drive this impeachment against Donald Trump in 2019. I'll hit.
Okay, that was long. Sorry, but that's her own words. That's the director of national intelligence who's actually putting forward the criminal referrals, okay? More importantly, she named names. She named Adam Schiff directly. Remember I said a minute ago, I think we're going to hear a big name, some elected official? You got to make your own predictions. Just now knowing what we know, would it surprise you one iota, one little bit, if we actually had Adam Schiff, maybe others, but him specifically, standing trial for treason? Maybe. Okay, so that's Tulsi Gabbard's own explanation of the criminal referral and what she's still working on, right? You always want to get a different perspective. To find out what's going on, you kind of have to delve deep into the left-wing media on this. So let's go to MS Now's take on this. It's a pretty good wrap-up of the story,
Just
too.
moments ago, MS Now has just confirmed Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard referred the whistleblower whose complaint led to the first impeachment of President Trump and the Inspector General, who deemed their complaint credible, for possible criminal prosecution by the Trump Justice Department. The move comes...
Okay, here's the thing you got to know about that. Like people like MS Now and the left-wing loony media and all their pals. You have to look at in a case like this, MS Now as a voice box for the Democrats, right? So they can't ignore the story because it directly involves them, and that's exactly why Tulsi Gabbard named Adam Schiff directly in that interview. So the Democrats go into panic and they call their news directors and their producers and their investors with MS Now and CNN and CBS and ABC, and they say, get ahead of this story now. Report the facts, and then we'll start to spin it that way. That's exactly how this works, okay? But now, hold on a second. Now we have to go to a White House briefing. Caroline Leavitt, the voice of the Trump administration, besides Trump himself, in a White House briefing explaining what happened. If you thought Tulsi Gabbard talked about the inner workings of how this Russia hoax all went down, listen to Caroline Leavitt. She names none other than, sure, the usual suspects, but who is behind all this? This was a massive, massive announcement yesterday. It's complicated, which is why we aren't really talking about it too much, but she names Obama.
Another matter, over the past few days, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has unveiled shocking new evidence that former President Barack Obama and top aides in the Obama administration conspired to subvert President Trump's 2016 election victory and undermine the democratic will of the American people. While publicly pretending to engage in a peaceful transfer of power, in private, former President Obama went to great and nefarious lengths to try to sow discord among the public and sabotage his successor, President Trump. The new evidence released by the Director of National Intelligence, who is here with me today, confirms that the Obama administration manufactured politicized intelligence, which was later used as the justification for baseless smears against President Trump in an effort to try to delegitimize his victory before he even took the oath of office.
Okay. Again, this is one of the most impactful things ever stated in that room. I mean, we've all said it, right? You may have said it in a barroom conversation, friends, you texted somebody, I know Obama was behind all this. Let's just clarify again. This is Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, naming his administration and him directly for creating all this. This is massive. It's not going away anytime soon. But the key is, if the administration, as Caroline Leavitt did a pretty good job there, in breaking this down and simplifying it for the masses, for all of us, right? If they're successful in getting that message out there, this is devastating for former Obama officials or some current serving elected members of Congress, like Schiff. Devastating. Here's Claudia Tenney. She's a lawmaker of the Republican side. Here's Tenney.
It's groundbreaking, and I am just grateful to Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, for actually disclosing this information and seeing the really shoddy, poor intelligence work that was being done. It was being crafted and targeted to reach an impeachment, a settlement impeachment, really, to the American people, knowing they didn't have the evidence. This so-called whistleblower knew he didn't have the evidence. He used hearsay. He used...
What does it mean, though? Okay, well, first of all, and this is why this thing is so deep and complicated, it may, at the very least, wind up having that impeachment charge, that those accusations expunged. Like Russia Hoax 1 would just completely go away. But like she's saying, it is significant, it is impactful, and this, she didn't want to, she didn't want to exactly name names, and she kind of like softened it up by saying shoddy intelligence work. Like I said, if they get the message together and do it right on the Republican side, and if Trump actually gets that message out there, and he should actually do a full press conference on this and simplify it as only he can, this is a massive, massive deal. It's not general consciousness yet in conversation. It's not a topic of conversation for normal people yet because it's still so confusing. They need to simplify this and explain to everybody exactly what happened. But I listen, I don't know. I'm not here to make predictions, but I'm just saying, would it surprise you to have a massive name arrested on treason charges over this? Massive. For false information that led to, Russia Hoax 1 and impeachment 1. I don't know. We'll see. All right. I know it's complicated. It's deep. I told you this stuff is like really complicated, but no less important. This is a massive development. Oh, and by the way, all the people in your friend circle who are saying, that Tulsi Gabbard, she's not doing anything. Where are my arrests? Do you know the levels and layers of corruption and lies and swampy crap she has to dig through? Like Pam Bondi did. All right, I'll give you Pam Bondi. She actually screwed some things up. But, Kash Patel, where are my arrests? They're not doing anything. What do you think? They just go in there and they start, cracking people over the head? They have to deal with layers and layers of this crap. This is what she's been working on. There's your answer. And it's not going to go away anytime soon. All right. Also from the press room, let's talk about this. This was amazing to me. Sometimes a reporter will ask something stupid, and, Caroline Levitt tries to laugh it off, and it's a lighthearted moment. Oh, I think this is way revealing. I think this lady, and actually she was from the Wall Street Journal. Don't fool yourself and start thinking that the Wall Street Journal, that's a conservative business outlet. No. No. This is still a liberal-run, left-leaning, traditional, legacy, lamestream news outlet, as evidenced by this reporter that has a press pass. Listen to this question. This explains everything you've never been able to understand about the left-wing mindset, who can't wrap their heads around Trump. They can't get it. Do you have anybody in your life that is so humorless they take everything you say literally? You say something sarcastically at work. Nice weather we're having, huh? And the humorless person in you will go, right, nice, right, but nice. It's not nice at all. It's thunder and lightning out there. Humorless. That's like I think this explains everything about the Trump derangement syndrome people, and a lot of them are in the press. Listen to this.
Secretary. First of all, there was an interview that Dr. Mehmet Oz did recently where he described the president's views on his own diet. He said that he argued that diet soda is good for him because it kills grass, and if you pour it onto the grass, the grass is killed, and it therefore must kill cancer cells. I'm wondering if was this sort of an accurate description of how the president sees?
Look, as we all know in this room, I think the president has a very good sense of humor. It's one of...
You might have caught it there if you're a live stream viewer, a replay viewer, audio people how to describe it. As soon as she got halfway through that ridiculous, stupid, obtuse question, Caroline Levitt starts laughing because she knows she's dealing with an idiot. But that's it, isn't it? So here's the background of the story. Trump made that offhanded comment. Trump, again, you have to take him seriously. Don't ever take him literally. I mean, come on. They asked him about the Diet Coke that he drinks a lot of still. Remember a couple of years ago, he said, I'll keep drinking that crap. He actually said in a joking, offhanded kind of comment, well, I know that if I pour it down here, it kills the grass, so it probably kills cancer cells. I don't know, That's Trump. Of course he's joking about it. But here's a humorless, dorky, bespeckled, nerd Wall Street Journal reporter. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. They are humorless. They have no senses of humor. She actually asked the question, President Trump said that Diet Coke would possibly kill cancer cells. Is that how he views his health Oh, my God. And she wasn't even asking a facetious question. She was dead serious. She didn't understand what he was talking about with that. Again, this explains so much about the people you can't understand, the people who are completely just broken, TDS infected, broken because they can't figure out Trump. The reason why is they're humorless. They take everything literally, and they have no sense of humor. They're not creative. We've known this for a long time. That's proof of it. Like, did you ever hear that expression? In social media world, the left cannot meme, like little funny pictures or photographs to explain a situation. They're kind of like the new political posters. The left sucks at it because they don't get nuance and they don't get humor. There you go, right there. Does President Trump really believe that Diet Coke would kill cancer cells? Sure. Yeah, he meant that serious as a heart attack. You dope. God almighty. And there's Caroline Levitt, who has to give her an actual respectful response. I think we all know that President Trump has a sense of humor. Whatever. Keep an eye on the Tulsi Gabbard story. It's only going to grow, hopefully, and this is what we all need to do. Hopefully, break it down to simple terms so the masses can understand how dangerous this was and who's involved. And I wouldn't be surprised, I'll say it, we have maybe multiple big names. We'll look back and see if we were right, but big names charged with treason over this. It's a big deal, I'm telling you. And next time you go to Disney, pay attention to the park greeting. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's back. Told you, common sense is breaking out all over. Thanks for finding me. Appreciate you so much. All right, Monday through Friday, live stream, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, X and Facebook and YouTube, and then the replay. More importantly, though, the audio podcast. Thanks for finding it. A lot of you have subscribed, download, share, whatever you got to do, whatever they tell you to do on your favorite podcast platform, so you know when the new episodes are out. And this will get posted in just a couple of minutes. Make it a wicked awesome Thursday. I'll talk to you tomorrow.